Okay, so greetings to all the members of the floor as well as all the respectful judges. So my name is MARIAH ASEM and I am from the Faculty of Health Sciences, Universiti Kebangsaan, Malaysia, and I'll be presenting my research entitled Visual Perception Skills of Malaysian Preschool Children with TVPS score, the comparison with the US norms. Okay, so before I start, I would like to explain on the definition of my visual perception. So visual perception basically refers to the capacity to interpret or give meaning to what is seen, and it includes recognition, insight, and interpretation at the higher levels of the central nervous system. And according to Schneck in 2010, visual perception is a total process responsible for the reception and cognition of visual stimuli. So why is it important to assess a child's visual perception? As we know, the critical period for the formation of visual perception is between the ages of 4 to 8 years old. So if in this period the visual perception is not developing well, it can impact functional skills such as problems in reading, spelling, writing, mathematical computation, and communicating. And it also plays an important role in daily occupation, such as work, education, self-care, play, leisure, and social participation. Okay, so one of the most frequent assessment used to assess a child's visual perception is the test of visual perception, which is the latest edition. And it is an instrument to assess motor-free perceptual abilities for children aged 5 to 21 years old. And it is standardized based on samples of children from the USA and evaluates 7 visual perceptual subskills as shown at the right. Okay, my research problem firstly is, according to Brown and Merdolo, standardized tests needs to be validated in certain cultural settings and with particular diagnosed groups before attempting to generalize the acquired results. And applying norms from one culture to another could lead to a child's development status being misinterpreted as children from different cultures develop at a different rate. And results obtained by means of inaccurate evaluation can lead to misinterpretation and implication on the intervention plan. And so far, currently, there are no published data on Malaysian preschool children's TVPS score. That is why TVPS 4 need to have other cross-cultural validation to ensure appropriate clinical interpretation of scores when used in other countries. My research objective is to determine 7 subskills and overall standard scores of TVPS and a sample of typically developing Malaysian preschool children, and to compare the measured TVPS with the US norms. So my methodology includes preschool children aged 60 to 83 months or 5 to 6 years old attending government or non-government preschool, uses convenient sampling method. And my sample size calculation is 72 preschool children. Instruments include demographic questionnaire, visual function, as well as the TVPS score. And analysis includes descriptive data, one sample t-test, independent t-test, as well as one-way ANOVA. And my subject and criteria include preschool children and must be a Malaysian citizen with no physical or cognitive disability and born a term at more than 32 weeks. Okay, and the demographic questionnaire as well as consent forms must be obtained from the parents. And a visual function includes visual acuity and synapses. And this was to ensure that reduced visual function does not affect the TVPS performance. And lastly, of course, the TVPS score was administered with all the 7 subtests. And as for the scoring, firstly, the raw score is the total number of correct items for each subtest, where it is converted to the scale score with a mean of 10 and standard deviation of 3. And the overall sum of the scale score is called the standard score with a mean of 100 and standard deviation of 15. As for my results, the mean age for all the 72 preschool children was 5.06. And if I would to compare the standard score by gender, it shows that there was no significant difference between male and female. And the TVPS standard score by ethnicity also shows there was no significant difference in TVPS score, even though the Chinese preschool children shows a slightly higher mean compared to other ethnicity. And lastly, the TVS and the score by school type also shows that preschool children attending at government and non-government did not have any significant difference. And the table shows the comparisons between Malaysian sample and US norms. As you can see, for all the 7 subtests, it shows that the mean scale score was significantly higher than US norms. And the overall index score also shows a significantly higher score compared to the US norm, which is 116. And the score distribution comparison shows the mean for the Malaysian sample is approximately 1 standard deviation higher. As you can see as well, the 16th and 84th quartile also shows a higher number compared to the US standard norms. So discussion. So the gender ethnicity type of school do not have the significant changes on TVS score. And the Malaysian preschool sample score is significantly higher for all the 7 subtests and overall than the US norms. So this raises the question of whether US norms can be applicable to Malaysian children. And this study provides preliminary data as a reference when TVPS assessment is used. In conclusion, typically developing Malaysian preschool children's TVPS score performance was significantly higher than the US norms. And this is why clinicians should exercise caution when using the norms published outside of the local context when using the TVPS score for diagnosing and evaluating Malaysian preschool children's visual perception. So these are my references, and that is all for me. Thank you very much.